Well, I got to be the best in the business. I got to be the greatest, the GOAT. Boxingego does it again as Jaron Boots Ennis. Some fans fear that he did look during fight week a bit drained. We are going to go over all of the weight for Jaron Boots Ennis ahead of his upcoming fight with Lima. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I gotta toot my own horn. I got to be the best in the business, and it's not even close. Listen, the reason why I got to do this is I have been consistent like no other when it comes to boxing dialogue, analysis, and commentary. And you will hear it. Some themes that I've covered for many years repeated. Fans are now concerned for Jaron Boots Ennis, and they believe for fight week he looked a bit drained. Spoiler alert, Jaron Ennis made weight. We have a fight with Lima. So he did make weight. That's not a problem. As you see on the screen, 153.4. So he made weight under the 154. He was a professional, all good there. But it's how he's making weight and how he's arriving at the weight, which we'll look in, that has some people shook, right? Now, I'm not the smartest brother in the world, but I believe this weigh-in that you've seen where Jaron Ennis looks healthy is not the official weigh-in, right? I believe that this weigh-in was a ceremonial weigh-in, and this was just for the crowd. So let me explain real quick in case you don't know what a ceremonial weigh-in is. Ceremonial is basically like for show, for the cameras, for the fans, fake. It's like a fake weigh-in. And what you're noticing more and more is these big cards or certain cards, if there's fears, especially that people might not make weight or might be struggling to make weight, whatever, they'll do these early morning weigh-ins with the commission behind closed doors. So you don't get to see how skeletal the fighter looks. If they look emaciated, you don't get to see that unless, media happens to snap pictures, which doesn't always happen, right? If pictures leak, they leak. But they do it behind closed doors, and then later, hours later, at let's say 12 p.m., 1:30 p.m. local time, they'll do a weigh-in for the public. And by that point, the fighter could have ate oatmeal, they could have ate some pasta, got some carbs, got some liquids back in their system. So by that time, they're starting to fill back out and balloon back up. And I think that's the case when it comes to Jaron Boots Ennis, because at the weigh-in, he didn't look like anything was wrong, which leads me to believe, and I've been doing this for a while, that he didn't make weight fresh on the scale at that moment, but they probably did a ceremonial weigh-in. So again, because I know the haters, they're going to be like, oh, Ego, you hating. Jaron Ennis made weight, we have a fight. But look how big his head looks compared to his body. People do not understand the weight cutting process. Subscribe to the channel. I will try to help illustrate it. I've seen fighters do some of the craziest things in an effort to make weight. Weight cutting is not easy. You got to keep in mind, some of these guys are campaigning at these weight classes and they've had to maintain it since they were kids, like when they were in high school, right? Like, let's say in high school you weigh 140 and you've been an 8-year pro and you still fighting at 140, 147. That means you're stagnating your weight. So by no means am I trying to make it sound like it's easy. However, this is why I gotta give myself props, because I've been telling you we are in different times when it comes to weight cuts, where these guys are weighing massive amounts as far as their walk around weight, and they're doing these crazy flips and crazy weight cut, and that becomes harder. Now, Jaron Ennis particularly, I told you guys that he was big for the welterweight division. If you remember me saying that, just type I remember in the comment section. Not only did I say that, I also predicted exactly where we're at now, where I stated Jaron Ennis, by the time he hits 30, he is going to have to move up. I said it, and before he even got to 30, he's having to move up to 154. Now, what is a bit concerning is fans are like, yo, he still looks like the weight cut is whooping his butt a little bit, to make 54, right? So that is a bit concerning. That just goes to show me that these fighters, a lot of them, they're not gone are the days of Manny Pacquiao. I believe, you know what I mean? Floyd Money, like I said before, hard work, dedication. Leonard Ellerby, he made sure I was straight. But at the end of the day, I'm Money Mayweather, right? Jake Paul Ayton. Floyd, Pacquiao, Bernard Hopkins, guys like that. Rocky Marciano, all the old Jack Johnson, all them old school cats. They are from a different breed where they didn't have to be like 190 and then taper down to 135 to make fights. You know what I mean? It's just different. This new generation is like, and I hate to use the term weight bullies, but that's kind of what it is. We got to start getting back to the game where it's same day weigh-ins, because I feel like people are kind of abusing it. And you see guys like in this case, and I'm not trying to pick on Jaron Ennis. Believe it or not, I've been a longtime fan of Jaron Ennis, but there's nobody who's above the law. You are not Steven Seagal. I'm just keeping it real with everybody. And Boots is just how do you have these fighters who are moving up in weight and they still look gaunt? They still look sucked up a bit. You should be like that. Back in the day, it would be a privilege if you're like killing yourself to make this weight and then you moved up and now you don't have to cut an extra 7 pounds. That's your cushion. But now, you look at some of these pictures of Boots, he still looked like it was a intense weight cut. Now, Boots historically has had moments where he kind of looked spotty, where it looked like he was a bit drained, and he's still performing. But long term, it is not good for your liver. It is not good to keep deflating and dehydrating your body. I remember seeing Jaime Munguia, he virtually passed out after one of his weigh-ins. He's another person with these crazy weight swings and weight cuts, and they started looking rough at the weigh-in. And I'm always going to be concerned when a person's moving up, which should be to your benefit, and they still look like they had a struggle to make weight, right? Like Crawford didn't look like he had a struggle. You didn't hear me when he was fighting Canelo. You didn't hear me say, because he moved up all that weight, he looked fine, But guys like Devin Haney, Jaron Ennis, Devin Haney, he moves up to 140. He can only make the division for like 2 fights. I predicted this for years, and now you guys are seeing it. How come Ryan Garcia, he can only fight at 140 for like a fight or two? Devin Haney only for a fight or two. And people are like rapidly moving out of divisions. Zurdo Ramirez is all the way to cruiserweight, probably has to go to heavyweight. The game is getting crazy. Fans are speculating that Boots had a tough cut. We'll see what Lima has. They will be fighting tonight. Ego Weight Watchers, aka Ew.